Hello, everyone. This is Jen with Jen's Den Art. I am an acrylic artist, and I am here today to share with you our 2025 monthly focus lesson. So, this week is probably one of my favorite weeks. We are having not really week, month. We are having a Florals February month. We are just full of florals, and we would love to share some information with you on creating florals. Come on in and say hello when you get here. I am going to grab a couple of my floral paintings that we've been working on this month. If I can find them all. Yeah, okay, I have them right here. I'm just looking around, making sure I have all of my stuff. I always think I'm ready, and then when I press live, I'm like, oh, I forgot to do this, and I forgot to do this, and I forgot to do that. Hello, Michael. Hello, Connie. How are y'all doing today? I am streaming today on both my Facebook business page and my YouTube channel. So you can watch me from either place. Hello, Cindy. And this will be available to everyone for one full week from today. And then it will be archived into our Den, our Jen's Den VIP membership group. And you will have access to it in there as long as you are a subscriber. So what we're going to do today, just a couple of things to let you know what's going to happen. I have an actual focus lesson on helping you create florals, which kind of overlaps into what we did last month in January, which our focus last month was still life. So if you remember working on our still life focus, we talked about some really important tips and techniques that we use to create still life. But you know, flowers are a part of still life. So they kind of overlap a little bit, but there are some more specific tips that I'd like to share with you that are focused on flowers and all of our florals that we're going to be working on. So a couple of things that I wanted to share with you that we've been working on this month already and that we have coming up in February is, here it is. It is our Acrylic 101 5-day challenge, which starts on February 17th. And the link is there. Hi, Diana. Hi, Mary and Angie and Justine. Hi, Justine. We're so glad you're here. This is the large project. It's on a round, but you don't have to paint it on a round. You can paint it on a square, which is actually what I'm going to do the second time I paint it. I'm going to paint it on a square. Okay, you can even do a horizontal or a vertical, like an 8x10 or whatever size you want, 11x14. So this is what we're calling our basket of roses. This is the large project that we are going to paint in our 5-day challenge. And if you sign up by February 12th, which is, I don't know what day that is. Today is the 7th, so you have 5 more days to sign up. You are going to get a bonus painting tutorial, which is our rustic florals. I have no idea what kind of flowers these are. Maybe they're hydrangeas, but they just don't have like the really big shape of a hydrangea. But yeah, this is just a fun floral project that you get while you're waiting for the actual Acrylic 101 5-day challenge to start. You have immediate access to this. It's already a pre-recorded video. You will be sent an email as soon as you sign up. It is $10 for all of that, plus there is more, okay? There's a lot more, actually. So those are the 2 main projects that are actually being advertised. But on day 1, you get another demo painting, very similar to what we're going to be doing here today. You get it's a surprise. I'm not telling you what it is, but it is going to be a floral. Okay, you get a demo painting on day 1 and a value and composition technique tips and tricks video. On day 2, you get another demo painting, which is another surprise. It's going to be another floral. And we're going to talk more about composition and shading and values as well. And then day 3, 4, and 5 is going to be the large project that I showed you, the basket of roses. So you're literally getting three small projects and one large project in our Acrylic 101 5-day challenge. Plus, you're going to learn some really great tips and tricks for making your florals and for making any of your acrylic paintings pop. We're going to talk about composition, values, perspective, all of those things. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be providing for y'all in that week. It starts February 17th, but sign up before February 17th. Sign up by February 12th to get this bonus painting tutorial, which is an early bird special. Okay, so lots of great things happening this month. Here is our first monthly painting that we have done so far in our membership for February. This is our purple irises. We painted this one so far. We are going to be painting a spring meadow this week. Y'all, I don't know if y'all realize this or not, but Jen's Den VIP membership, we paint live every week. So you get 4 paintings a month live with me. Plus the tutorials in the library, there's almost 400 of them because we've been painting together every week for 5 years. We are celebrating our 5-year anniversary this month, which is a big blast. And that's why we're doing a 5-day Acrylic 101 challenge. There's a lot of memberships out there that you can choose from, but there are none that I have found that provide that many new painting tutorials every single month that are live. You can go out there and you can look, but I haven't found any. So I'm going to keep it going because I'm a professional teacher by heart. I taught for 25 years in the public school system, and providing you with as much content and to help you learn as much as you want is my passion. I love teaching. It's what I love to do. So I'm going to continue to provide one new painting every single week. And we go live 2 days a week. So I go live with y'all probably like 10 times throughout the month with all the extra bonuses that I do. And yeah, that's not going to stop. That's not stopping anytime soon. So I hope y'all enjoy all of the content that I provide for y'all. I know Michael and I really enjoy doing all of this, and I am ready to get started with our floral workshop. So what we're going to do first is we are going to watch a video. No, we're not going to watch a video. We are going to talk about painting florals. And this is only going to take like 5 minutes. This is like a little lesson that I created for all of you, just to talk some more about what we kind of focus on in our florals. So some of the things that we're going to talk about, our objectives, like what I want you to get out of this is we are going to talk about creating a compelling composition. Okay, we're going to talk about our composition. We are going to understand, I want you to understand and utilize light and shadow so that you can create that depth that you need. We are going to learn how to develop a strong sense of balance in our florals. What makes it compelling to us? Why do we want to place certain flowers where we place them? We are going to learn how to block in our shapes, to understand how to identify our form of our flowers. And we are going to paint some peonies today. Are y'all excited about that? We get to paint some peonies. So I have just a few. This is the picture that I picked up from the internet that we're going to paint. Okay, I've never painted this before, so we're going to be doing this together. I'm super excited about it. All right, so I picked up a few examples of some very popular artists who have created florals that are super popular. The one on the left is Elaine Picard. And one of the things that I love about these roses is the composition of them. First of all, there's 3. Okay, that's a big plus. Whenever you're painting and you're doing like a still life of flowers, having like thirds, like an odd number, is very popular. It's what has been studied and it has been learned to be a very good composition for your eyes. It's very pleasing and it's very comforting. Okay, the middle one is a Claude Monet, a Monet painting, basically. But the reason why I stuck this one in here, it's not necessarily a still life, it's more of a landscape. But the reason why I stuck this one in here is because of the impressionism of it. If you look, y'all, if you look at every single one of those flowers, there is not one of those flowers that has detail. It's all just, I call it blobs. I know it's probably not the most appropriate word to call it, but I call it just a little spot to show you that there is some type of form of a flower right here, but you can't really see any of the petals and you can't really make out what kind of flower it is, but you just give that form of some type of flower there. Okay, and then of course, there's a lot of different versions of this Van Gogh painting of the sunflowers. And that's just one of the sunflower paintings that Van Gogh did. He lived in a yellow house. So he painted a lot of sunflowers with a lot of yellow. We kind of call this a mono. It has like a lot of yellow in it. But there's all different shades of yellow. Okay, so there's all different types of values in it, and that's what makes it so interesting. So these are really beautiful paintings there. So here's the tips that we're going to really focus on today. We're going to talk about design. When you're designing your floral, I'm actually going to forward through, and we're going to look at a design here. So here's a good design in a good form. You want to make sure that your composition, okay, your composition and your main focal point is not necessarily like right in the center. You want to make sure that your flowers are not the same size. You want to make sure that they're not the same distance apart. You want to have some variety in there, and that's some really important tips to help you in your composition for your floral arrangement. These are 2 examples of a great way to set up your florals, regardless of whether you're just using a photograph, which is what we're using today, or if you're doing a still life and you're actually doing it from a live setup of flowers. The flowers do not have to be real flowers. They could be fake flowers, and you can just play around and set up your own that way. So again, don't get caught in details. Think about the form of the flowers. Okay, so here is something else that I want to talk to y'all about, and this is about the values. All right, so these are 2 examples of paintings that you can find in Jen's Den in my membership. And the one on the left is a lantana. And we painted this, and look at all of the different values, okay? The darks and the lights. You can see like way in the back is a really, really dark green, and then as you come to the center of the flower, you can see where we just tapped in some of that really light white color in there. Okay, also if you look at the one on the right, this is the one that I just recently painted. Notice that there are some really dark values. There's really dark areas. When you're looking at your lighting, like you can see that on the right, that's where the light is coming from, because you can see where I put that white there. That tells you, okay, there's light coming in on the right there. And on the left, I made sure that the milk jug or whatever that is, that little rustic jug, is much darker because there's shading there. So those are things that you always want to focus on when you are creating your flowers. Okay, so here's another help with values. So I took my painting here and I stuck it into a photo editor and I made it black and white. So here you can really see where the darks are really dark, and we're going to do that in our peonies in just a minute, and where the lights are really light. That's always a great way to help you in finding your values. Here's another great tip. Make your photo blurry. Stick it in a photo editor and make the photo really blurry. And what this is going to do is this is going to help you with your design. Okay, this is going to help you make your sketch and get the form right. You don't want to pay attention to all of the petals. So I make templates for my my membership, but I never give you petals when I trace anything. I only give you the form of the flowers, like a big oval. Because if you go in and you start giving yourself a tracer that has petals on it, then you're not allowing yourself to be loose like I like to be in my paintings. And here is the peonies that we are getting ready to paint. Connie says my paintings are just as good as Monet. Oh, you are so sweet. I wish that would to be true, but that's a great compliment. So here is something else that I did. I took this peonies photo that we are getting ready to paint, and I stuck it in my photo editor, and I created a blurry version of it. Okay, so that blurry version of it is going to allow me. And now we're going to go here. If I can get, I'm going to come back to that video in just a minute. I'm going to add this to the stage. Let's see. I'm going to go here. Okay. So that blurry version, which I don't have the blurry version in front of me on the video, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paintbrush, and I have my paints on my palette already. These are the colors that I am thinking I'm going to be using. I'm going to just go over them with you. I have black, I have titanium white, I have quinacridone red. Okay, there's a couple of different names for this red that you might find in the store if you are looking for this. This is quinacridone red. It's by Utrecht. There is another one called primary magenta that is by Golden. That is a very similar color. And how do you know if you have the right red? Because you know there's like tons of different reds out there. I love this red because I'm going to show you right here. When I add white to it, look what color it is. It's like hot pink. Not all reds do that. Some reds are more on the orange side, and they're going to give you a much warmer red when you add white to it. But I love these reds because of that hot pink, almost like a magenta color that they give you. So that's what that color is. Then I have sap green and green gold. Y'all, I'm really liking this color lately. I've been using it a lot. It's called Green Gold by Golden. It's just got a really vibrant yellow tone in it. Look how bright that is. It's really, really pretty. See how bright that is? Now, I don't use it full strength. I usually mix it with something. But that's a really pretty color that I'm going to be using today. And then I have cadmium yellow. And we're going to do a little mixing today, but we're also going to play around. I have an 8x10 canvas right here. We're going to play around with this peony, the form of where the peonies are and the shape of everything. So I'm going to start with a little bit of black. I don't want to use too much. Let me make it a little bit more of a gray. This is my drawing tool, by the way. I use my paintbrush to draw. Okay, so I'm going to pay attention to almost like squinting your eyes, like it's blurry. And I'm going to pay attention to the main pieces that I see that I know I'm going to have to focus on. So I have a glass jar, but it looks like a mason jar here. Did I go too far up? No, I did not go too far up. This is how I know I didn't go too far up. So I'm going to use, I'm looking for something. Here we go. I'm going to create an X on my canvas. And this is for drawing purposes. This is for sketching, which I always like to show you how to sketch it out if you don't want to use the template. Okay. So if you notice, if you look at where the center of this sketch is showing up, look at the photo itself. And if you were to take that photo and create this same exact cross, you would see that just about right in the center is the top of the jar. Just about right in the center is the top of the jar. So I'm going with that, and I think I like it. Okay, now the only thing I'm going to focus on are the placements of the flowers. I'm going to focus on the form. I'm going to focus on the shape, not the exact petal. Okay, so we do not want exact petals. That just makes it really, really hard to paint the way I paint. So we're just going to do an oval. There's a big one right there. And then we're going to do another one. Really loose, just about right here. Okay, that kind of looks like where they are. And then I have one placed over here. See how loose I'm being? This is all we need for our sketch. We don't need anything else for our sketch. There's one here. That one might be a little bit too big. I might have to go back and change that. And then there's one over here as well. That's kind of, okay. So I'm thinking about my composition. And when I say composition, we talk about the rule of thirds, and we talk about making sure, there's a lot of different ways to talk about composition, but we're talking about the balance. We want to make sure that it's balanced. We don't want to have, we don't want to have this. Okay, this is what not to do. We don't want to have, let's say this is my piece right here. We don't want to have this all the same size and all evenly spaced apart and no fun in it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you don't want to have that. That's just too boring. It's not something that, if you're trying to sell your artwork, it's just not something that's going to really be pleasing to the eyes. So notice these two are a little bit too close to the same size. I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller. You want to make sure that you have a variety of sizes and they're placed kind of randomly. A lot of times, well, not a lot of times, this is a pretty important rule of thumb. Sometimes they talk about, I'm just using another color to show you, kind of like a triangle, like this. See that? Can you see that triangle that I just created? So I basically have 3 main flowers, and they kind of make like a triangle right there. All right. And then you can do all your little fill-ins and all of that as you're decorating for the final touches. Okay. So I hope that helps you in that part of the lesson. Okay, so that's our sketch. That's where we're gonna start. Now I'm gonna go back to, let's see if I can get this to come back up. I'm gonna go back to this, and then we're gonna go a little further. And we are going to look at not only the form of where the flowers are, which is what we did with this slide, but we're also gonna do this. We're going to also focus on the values, okay? Where is it really dark and where is it really light? So here is the same Peonies photo, but I stuck it in my photo editor, and I went ahead and got the black and white version of it. Okay, so when you're looking at the black and white version, you look at this, and the first thing I notice is where all of the dark values are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to, boom, boom, I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to let y'all do this with me on this screen. I'm going to take a flat brush. Let me see. This is no, that's not a flat brush. Where's my, oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to take a kind of like a medium-sized flat brush. To be exact, this is a number 12 Princeton Velvet Touch flat. Okay, and I'm on an 8x10 just to give you an idea of the size that I'm using. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dark green, very dark green. So how am I making this dark green? I'm taking my black and my cadmium yellow, and I'm making this really pretty green. It's actually one of my favorite greens. Just mix Mars black and cadmium yellow, and you get this really pretty green. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this green is I'm going to go in, and what I'm doing is I'm kind of like squinting my eyes, and I'm looking at where are those really, really dark colors on this painting. And so I see all of these. Uh-oh, I'm already getting my shirt full of paint. Let me pull my sleeve up before I go any further. Look, I already got green paint all over my shirt. This is a brand new shirt, y'all. Why do I do that? Oh, well. All right, so I am staying very loose. A little bit more of that dark color in there. And there's something else that I want to tell you about darks. Don't ever be afraid to go too dark. You can always go lighter, but it's really hard to go darker. So let me say that again. Don't ever be afraid to go too dark, because you can always go lighter. It's much easier to go lighter than it is to go darker. All right, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so those dark values in there. Something else that I'm not gonna use the yellow as much, but I'm gonna use just the white and the black. Let me clean my paintbrush off and do this. So I'm going to change the color, basically, is what I'm saying. I'm going to go into the black and the white without the yellows, because I don't want it to be green. And I'm going to focus on that background area. Do y'all see how dark it is back here? I'm going to focus on this. I'm just going to make this side, put some water on it to help it move. This side's going to be, forgot to put the rest of my table right here. This side's going to be darker. Now, here's a really interesting component. You see how, I want you to focus on this. So look at these two. They're two different hues. Okay, I'll say that again. They're two different hues. They're two different colors. One of them is green, one of them is gray. However, they are almost the same shade. They are both really dark. Okay, but if you look at the photo, what I want to do is I want to make sure that that background color is a little bit lighter than this dark leaf. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter color. I'm going to add maybe a little bit of the white. It's still not quite light enough. I'm going to add a little bit more. And my focus here is I want to make sure that that color behind that leaf is a little bit lighter than the actual leaf. It doesn't matter what color it is. It could be purple is all I care. But I just want to make sure that the value, the light to darkness, is actually different. So now you can see this leaf is much darker. Even though it's a different color, it doesn't matter, but it's much darker than this color here. Okay, so value is dark and light. I hope that makes sense. All right, so you know that our values always come into play no matter what painting you're painting. And y'all, values are the key to having a great painting. If you can understand values and how to apply different values, then you got it. You got it. Okay, so now I'm going to go lighter over here because this side is much lighter. So we're going to have some fun. I keep on adding a little bit of water to my paintbrush because I want my paint to move well. And I'm going to go a little bit lighter. And by lighter, I'm just adding some white. So look how good that's coming out. I'm going to keep my background gray and see if I like it. Maybe I want to put a color on top of it. I don't know. We'll see. So just because I'm using gray right now doesn't mean that that's going to be the final color that I use for my background. It's just the beginning. So let's go a little bit lighter right here. Not light enough. Let's go even lighter. So can y'all see how this side is light and this side is dark? You can see in the black and white photo how much of a difference that makes, right? In corner, no template plate. Wait, okay. I'm gonna let y'all answer her. Let me get this back up. Add that. There we go. There's my main painting that we're gonna go from. Okay, and just let's go back right here. Just a couple of other things. I think that might be, yes, that is the end of my trying to get this all. I can't talk and do this at the same time. Let's see. I need to go here, here. Okay, there we go. All right, so that was the end of the actual lesson, and now we're going to go ahead and make sure we focus on the painting. But this was just to get started, and now we're going to go on a little bit further. All right. So there's my form, and there's my values. I haven't done anything with the bottom yet. We'll get to that eventually. Okay. Hello, Denise. Hello, Miss Diana. And I think I told all of y'all hi. Hi, Miss Pat. How are you? All right. So let's keep on going. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start on our peonies. And I'm still using the same flat brush, y'all. I'm just going to use the same flat brush. And I like to work dark to light. Okay. And also, remember, I'm not focusing on the actual petals. So I'm going to go into my quinacridone magenta. I'm going to go into my quinacridone magenta. And that's like a super, super red. I want to calm it down just a little bit because I feel like it's just a little bit too red for my likings. So I just added a little bit of black to it. Actually, I added way too much black. So I'm going to add some more red to kind of go back over that. Okay, so that's good. I like these dark, muted, like moody colors, I guess you can say. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start on the center of the peony. And I'm just going to make like a really dark center. That color is to die for. It's almost like a wine color, what I created by adding that black to it. Okay, and then I don't think I'm going to be able to do the same exact one right here. I have a little bulb right here that I see that really has some darkness in it. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start. Then I'm going to go a little bit lighter. Okay, so how am I going to add some lightness? I'm going to grab a little bit of white. Okay, and you can already see that I've added this beautiful, see, it's not quite, see how I put it down? I put down the color and I looked at it and I studied it and I said, okay, are these two colors contrasting enough? Are those two values enough, is there enough difference in them? And I kind of feel like it's not. Okay, so I'm gonna add, you know what I'm gonna add? I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow and get a little bit of just a little bit of a coral color coming through and a little bit more white. Okay, so let's try it again. Yes, I like that a lot better. See how I've got these two values going on? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start just kind of shaping around my peonies with this color. You want to make sure that you use at least 3 different values, okay? You want to make sure you use at least 3 different values. And I'm just kind of dropping some little plops in there. And so what I'm looking at right now is I feel like I need to go a little bit darker in some areas. So I'm going to go back. Let's do this because I have a really bad habit of doing this. I'm going to make my different values right here. Okay, I'm going to make my dark red, which that's like way too dark. So I'm going to have to calm that down. Let's take some more red in there. All right, so I've got my really dark red. And then I'm going to make a medium red. And pull some of this with it. Let's pull a little bit of that. All right, so there's my medium red. And then I'm going to take more white and a little bit of this, and I'm going to make a really light red so you can see all 3 of the values here. And we're going to have more than just 3 values. I just wanted to show you this is how you come up with your different shades. All right, so I'm going to go back in the dark. I feel like I should have added a little bit more of this dark in here. And I'm going to add a little bit more of that dark in here as well. So notice I kind of made like a blob in the middle with that dark, and then I'm kind of coming back and just adding almost like a little fan at the bottom. And then at the top, I'm trying to make like a little ring around the top with this dark color. Now we're going to get a lot lighter, but we're going to start with these dark colors and we're going to work our way to the lighter colors. Now this one up here, I don't need a lot of that dark color at all. I'm just going to add a little bit of it. And then this one here is you can't even see the center. So we're just going to add a little bit of that. That one's opening up that way. So that's why I'm making my strokes like that. You can see all of those strokes that way. And then this one here, that one's opening down as well. So we're going to make these strokes go that way. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be the placement of the majority of our flowers. And we're going to come back and do the bottom in just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my medium. Let's see if my medium is light enough. Nope, it's not light enough. So I'm going to add a little bit of white. And then I'm going to come back in here. Lots and lots of paint on my paintbrush. I hope you can see like how much paint I have on my paintbrush. Okay, so I want this area right here at the bottom, I want it to look like it has big petals that are opening, that are coming up. Okay, so I'm going to make these petals come way up like that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Get those petals to line up like that. And then I'm going to start filling in. Now remember, we're just painting shapes. We're not painting the actual, all of the petals there. So we're just adding in all of those layers. Now up here, I'm going to add this color. And you can either go from the bottom up or from the top down. Add a little bit of water from the bottom up or from the top down. And they're going to slowly start taking shape. And then we're going to do this one over here. You don't want to cover up the dark color, which I feel like I covered up a little bit of the dark color there. Okay, now I'm going to go into my lighter color. Okay, and I'm going to start bringing in right on the tips. I'm going to start bringing in more of those lighter colors. And I know it's kind of hard to even tell, well, where's a tip? But you just kind of you're just kind of making your decision. All right, here's a petal, and right here is the top of the petal. So I'm just kind of looking for some of those tips in there. This one I need to add a little bit more of that darker color back in. Okay. Nice. Okay, so let's go back in here. I'm going to add some of that dark back in here. And then we'll start this one. We're just basically adding a bunch of layers, and you just want your layers to have all those different values. Another paintbrush that would be really good to use with this is a filbert brush. I'm using a flat brush, but you can use a filbert brush as well. Okay, I like that. Let's go back in here. So now I'm just going to start. I'm going to make a little bit of an orangey tone in there. So I'm going to start using all of these values again, because I'm going to add some more layers. Okay, so I added just a little bit of orange. Ooh, I like that. It's got a little warm, it's going to have a little warm tone to it. Let's add some white. A little bit of red. All right, so now you can see that's the color I want. You can see those different values coming through. I have at least 3 values. Sometimes you'll see even more. All right, so let's take a break from that. We're gonna go even lighter on our flowers as well. But right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. And while I let it dry, I am going to start working on another, but yes, Filbert. I'm so glad y'all remember about our Filbert. All right, so I'm going to start working on another area, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the vase here, and you can see the vase has some green in it, just a little bit of green gray color. So I'm going to go back into my black and yellow, and of course I have my white there as well. And I'm not even using these greens yet. We're going to come to those. So that color is really pretty. I'm going to go ahead and put in my vase. Now this is kind of dark, or it's kind of green actually, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. You'll see how it'll work. Get some more white. And I'm trying to reshape this just a little bit better. I have a pretty bad shape to my vase right now. So maybe it's not going to be as much of a mason jar as it is in the photo, but that's okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, and then we still got more work to do, but what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put our bottom in. We're gonna go mostly with white. I'm gonna go mostly with white and a teeny bit of yellow. Very, very teeny bit of the cad yellow. I'm gonna have to get some more white. And I'm gonna use that color down here. You can just barely see that it's got a little yellow tone to it. Let me get some more white. I never put enough white on my palette. I always say I need to put like at least 2 or 3 blobs of white because I always run out. All right, and this white is Liquitex Basics Titanium White. I buy it in a large container because I use so much of it. All right, let's make some more of that yellow. That's a pretty color. It's just a teeny bit of yellow and a lot of white. So I'm changing it up a little bit. I'm not doing the whole bottom because that would take us too long to do the whole bottom part. Like with the, I guess it's like a doily. All right, but what I am going to do is I'm going to continue in with the values, and I'm going to make that kind of like that gray color again with the black and white and a little bit of yellow in it. And you can see right in here, I've got some really beautiful shadows coming through. So again, just the shape of things. That's all I'm doing, is I'm going for a shape. And it kind of looks like that. All right, and then on this side, I'm going to take some of that paint off of my paintbrush. On this side, with that same color, but I'm just going to use some white to make it even lighter, you can see a little bit of shadow, just a little bit of a value change right in here. Just getting my line a little bit better in there. Cleaning that off. And then I'm going to come back with another value change. We're going to go back to that dark right here in the center of my vase. So we're going to ground this vase with a little bit of that green color. And then we're going to make some of those darker areas of the vase come through. Now that's starting to look much more, let's see, I'm all crooked, huh? Starting to look much more like I want it to look. Change those values up. And then let's get some more of that green. I'm going to make that really dark green with the black and the yellow again. And I'm going to bring in a few more of these stems in here. All right, loving it. And then this green and this green that I'm making is very similar to this green gold down here. So if you prefer to use the color that I'm kind of going for, it's this green gold color. So I'm going to start using this so you can see what that's going to do to some of my leaves as well. So another value change is going to have to take place because we're going to start going in with our leaves and our stems. And so I'm going to make a stem here that comes out. And then I'm going to start bringing in a little bit more of our different shades of green. So just like I did with the red, I made like 3 different shades of reds. Well, now I'm making like 3 different shades of greens. And I'm gonna start holding my paintbrush like really far back. And this is why. Because when you start making all of those leaves, okay, I'm not even worried about the shape that much as I am the placement of the green to make your eyes work with the composition. So I'm looking at my placement of my flowers, and of course I want some of my leaves or greenery to be around the flowers. Okay, I'm going to make a little one come out here. I've got one there. Let's make some come down here, like in the photo. I'm being stingy with my paint for some reason. Let me go ahead and mix up a bunch. more paint on my paintbrush makes it flow better. And you go one more right here. And then I'm just going to use my judgment. Okay, where do I need some balance? I feel like I need some balance right here underneath this flower. So I'm going to add another little leaf. And I'm just going to scan it. I'm going to look, okay, does it look like it's got enough greenery? Maybe not. Maybe I need another one here. Maybe I'm going to reshape these to be a little more full. Okay, then I'm going to go to another value, and I'm going to use more yellow, or I'm going to use this green gold down here, either way. And I'm going to start coming in with, let me use a little bit of white too. I'm going to start coming in with a different shade of green on top of all of the greens that I already have. And then you're going to start seeing dimension and depth. Now that just made a huge difference as well. Okay, so let's go one more time with some, I'm going to add some white. And I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. And I'm going to go back in again. Now that's a pretty color. That's kind of like that green gold color. See all those different shades? Wonderful. All right, so let's stop on the green and let's go back into the pinks and the reds. And notice that in this photo, this is a composition thing. Notice that in this photo, we have, I'm going to have to remix some of these colors. We have some petals down here. And what that's doing is, you see how on this you see how on this photo, we have a lot of our flowers like at the top up here. Well, in order for our eyes to move and have like kind of like spread and balance the reds out, I'm trying to get a little bit lighter color. They purposely add those petals down here. So your eyes get drawn down here to also see that pink in the painting or in the photograph, whatever it is, whatever you're dealing with composition there. It kind of like makes your eyes move through the whole painting so much better and kind of balances everything out. So that's why they add that there. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just going back through the pinks again, or the reds, and I'm making my different values, and I'm just bringing in another layer. And we're going to go even lighter. A little bit lighter. I like to kind of dry brush this light color on top. I don't like to have a lot of paint on my paintbrush at this time, and it's what I call dry brushing. I hardly have any paint on my paintbrush because if you have too much, it covers too much. So see how I'm just kind of tapping in there? A little bit lighter. You can always add a little more depth when you go with that little pop of almost white, really. But it's just like a little bit of a pink. All right, it's really starting to come through. I'm going to clean that off. And I think I'm going to make this area right here just a little bit darker. Right here. I feel like that can use... I didn't even use my sap green. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to keep my black and yellow as my green. I'm going to take a lot of that paint off. I'm just going to come in a little bit darker. All right, then I'm going to go in with my darkest darks. Okay, my darkest darks, I'm going to use mostly black. And I'm just going to bring in, it's still a little bit of a dark green, but it's mostly blackish, greenish. It's not solid black. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of those darker shades again. I like to put a lot of layers on my paintings, as you can tell, so that you can get all of that depth. And then even after you finish some of these layers, I may even go back and add one more layer to round out and just kind of fill in the flowers. I want a little bit of a shadow right there. So we talk a lot about lights to darks, lights to darks. If you feel like something is drowning in your painting and it's just not popping, then that means you need to add some contrast to your piece. Like, I felt like this flower was drowning. It wasn't showing enough. So what I'm doing right now is I'm bringing in a darker value to like make this flower come forward. And you see I'm going to do that to this flower too. I'm just kind of bringing in some darker values around the edge of the flower, so that I want you to just notice how, look at it right now and look at this side, and look when I add these darker greens right on the edge of that flower. You don't have to add it all the way around. You just kind of piece it around. You can see how it just made the flower pop. And then I'm going to come back. I'm just going to add a little bit of that medium green back in there, just to give it a little more depth. And then my green gold is going to be my highlight. Green gold with white is going to be my highlight. And you're going to see, watch it pop. Green, gold, and white. Boom, boom. Watch this color just make my painting so much more vibrant than it was. A little bit more white. I'm going to add a little bit of that in here just for fun. Voila. What do y'all think? I mean, I did not focus on an actual peony, shape of a petal, but I think I came up with the idea that, oh, okay, these are peonies, or they might be roses, because peonies and roses are very similar in the painting style. Maybe like right here. I always do this, and Michael, when we're live in our group, Michael's like, stop, don't do anymore. I always do this. I look at it, I'm like, oh, I should make this a little bit darker, or I should make this a little bit lighter, and I just keep on playing with it. And he always fusses at me. He's like, stop. Just a little bit of a darker shade in there. All right. All right. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? I think we did it. I think it came out pretty darn cute. What do y'all think? I like it. I like it a lot. And I hope y'all enjoyed it as well. This is the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing in our Acrylic 101 5-day challenge. You have access to this video tutorial for a week on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel, and then it will be archived into our membership. We hope that you come and join us. I'm looking for the link to the Acrylic 101 5-day challenge. Make sure that you sign up by February 12th. You can sign up on February 12th as well. That also puts you in to get my, wherever it is, oh, here it is, my floral here, the rustic florals. You get that as your bonus. And then we'll also be painting this beautiful basket of roses with all of you in that 5-day challenge. And I can't wait to see y'all. We will be opening the membership during that week of the Acrylic 101 5-day challenge. So come on in if you want to join us and all of our peeps in there. You are welcome. We have a lot of fun. We paint, like I said, you get 4 new paintings per month. It doesn't mean that you have to keep up with us. It just means that you have a huge choice to choose from on what you want to paint. It's like a Netflix of paintings. I go live 8 to 10 times a month in our private group with everyone. We pray together, we paint together, we have lots of fun, and come join our family. We'd love to see you. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.